Fred, do you remember Veterans for Peace?
Absolutely.
What?
I've been a member. We actually started a chapter in upstate New York in the beginning of all this, really, which is 1991 or the end of 1990. You know,
During the first Gulf War.
when we first got into the Gulf, a lot of veterans, and particularly a lot of Vietnam veterans, as I put it, came out of the closet then because we couldn't be silent anymore. It was like, oh man, they're doing this crap again, and we can't keep our mouth shut anymore. And actually, up until that point, the end of the 80s, almost everybody I knew didn't know that I was a vet.
So you were in Vietnam for what years?
I was in Vietnam from February '68. We landed the week of Tet to February '69.
So you were there just at the start of Tet?
Well, it was more like the end of Tet, but or the middle of Tet. I don't know. We were scheduled for our welcome to. I won't go into a lot of details about the special circumstance that I went over under, but our welcome to Vietnam was a 30 caliber round that came dead center up through the plane we were on, coming into Chu Lai, and we were scheduled for a week of in-country training at the division base camp. This is Americal Division, and every day they threatened to cut it short and send us up to Da Nang, where the unit we were going to was getting their butt kicked, but happily it never happened. You know, the base got rocketed almost every night, but.
During that time, what were your political views about the war?
Oh, one of my favorite stories. I went in kicking and screaming, really. I did what I could to get out, but it was pretty puny. I wasn't well enough connected. I wasn't willing to go to jail. I wasn't willing to go to Canada. So I ended up over there. So, you know, one of the things I tell people is that in the spring of 1967, I was in that big demonstration in New York against the war. 250,000 people in Central Park to the UN, and less than a year later, I was on the ground in July.
So, what do you think about this war now, and people who are thinking of joining the military to go over there?
This war, like almost any war I can think of, with the possible exception of true wars of national liberation, is insanity. It's based on lies, and you know, no matter how you look at it, there's now a few 100,000 Iraqi dead. You know, and as the headline in I'll paraphrase the headline in The Onion goes, they would have loved freedom. You know, it's we're certainly not bringing them freedom. We killed more of them and just virtually destroyed a country. I mean, in '91 it was like we're going to bomb them back into the Stone Age. You know, so we took what was a relatively well-educated, somewhat industrialized, you know, second world country, I'd say, and deliberately targeted all their infrastructure. We've gone in there now under this Bush and totally dismantled all their infrastructure, and then we throw up our hands and say, why is there chaos? Of course there's chaos, and we're in there because a lot of big corporations are making a lot of money, and we're in there because there's some crazy people way high up who think we should control the world.
What do you think we ought to do now?
I think phased withdrawal is the only answer. I think we have to, you know, maybe get some international troops in there to have some stability in the meantime. Short of that, if we pull out and there's chaos, then there's chaos. It's their problem. It's not our problem. And this nonsense, you know, we had the same thing in Vietnam, you know. Well, we have to put a stop to this here because, you know, the domino theory, all of Southeast Asia is going to fall, and all, you know, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's a civil war in Iraq, and it was a civil war in Vietnam.
Have you marched with this Veterans for Peace contingent in this parade before?
Oh yeah, Yeah, this is, I don't know how many times I've been here. Probably this is the fourth.
What kind of reactions do you get?
You know, I'm sort of surprised almost every time, but I don't know if I should be. I've learned to distrust the polls. I've learned to distrust the media because we get great reaction every time. I remember being in a Veterans Day Parade in Albany, New York, and this was the November right after 9/11, and we had a big peace contention in that with Veterans and Priests leading it, and we were scared. We were really scared. We didn't know if we were going to get things thrown at us. We didn't know what kind of reaction we were going to get. And we got a few nasty comments. But for the most part, even from the reviewing stand, we got enthusiastic applause. I remember this one guy, he looked like he was a World War I vet. You know, he was up there in his uniform. You know, he had to be in his 80s at least. And he was clapping and smiling. And when we came by and they announced us, and if we can get that kind of reaction at that time in this country, then now when the polls are turning so much against this war, I'm certainly not worried about today.
And last question, people who are marching, you have people who are not veterans who are also welcome to march.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. We need all the help we can get. You know, peace has become a dirty word.
So next year, maybe there'll even be more.
I hope so. I'm sick of the the politics. You know, those places that have tried to keep Veterans for Peace from marching. You know, this is not a political parade. You know, but it's not about politics. It's about morality. It's about spirit. You know, these guys who are over there, guys and women now, who are over there, are losing their souls every day. They're losing a bit of their souls from what they see and what they have to do, and it's criminal. You know, and it's not about politics. You know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.